I'd like for us to move the conversation to some of the questions that our Sports MVT online community sent through to us. And these are the questions that they would love to ask you. I'll start off with this question from 𝗀𝗚𝗱𝗃. Now, 𝗀𝗚𝗱𝗃 talks about you sustained a long-term injury before. Can you tell us about how injuries actually affect your mental health and your confidence going into a new part of your journey?
I think it's actually something you can use to build your mental health. It's definitely something that takes a toll on your mental health, because I mean you won't be doing something that you love at the end of the day, and you sustain an injury and you hear that you have to be out for a minimum of 9 months, and you start thinking to yourself like, okay, what next? Where do I start? I mean, for me, it was difficult. It was really difficult going through my injury because I was still at 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗶, so I did my recovery and my rehabilitation at 𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗶. So most of the times because I stayed with my teammates, so most of the times they would go to training and I would find myself alone, and I think that's the time you start asking yourself questions like, why did this have to happen to me? But I think over time you actually accept and you realize that it had to happen to you, that this is actually part of your journey, you understand? And for me, there was days where I felt like I'm going crazy, but I actually had to learn to live with it. And something that made me stronger as a person was realizing what I want in my football career and what I want to achieve. And I just told myself, like, you have so much still to achieve, you have so much still to do, and you need to get yourself out of this place, and you need to push yourself. So, and you need to be disciplined. I was very disciplined in terms of my rehabilitation and everything. And yeah, my faith is also something that kept me going. Another thing that kept me going was I used to watch YouTube videos of your elite athletes, especially soccer players that sustained like very serious injuries, and how they came back into the game and they come back. So those are the things that actually kept me sane at the end of the day, you know. So I definitely think it takes a big toll on your mental health, but I also think that it's an opportunity for you to actually become much stronger mentally. So you don't just use it as becoming for you to become stronger mentally for football, but it molds you to actually how can I say, when situation arises in life in general, you'd be able to handle it, you know. So I think it takes a toll on your mental health, but you can also use it as an opportunity to grow your state of mind and your mentality, you know.
Definitely. The next question comes through from Michael, and Michael simply says that Gerard Kemp once said that you are a role model of what one can achieve when you're committed, hardworking. And what do these words mean to you and your supportive family?
It means, obviously, for me as an individual, it means being committed to what you do, um, being disciplined, working hard, because I believe nothing comes easy in life. I believe you need to work for what you want, or you need to work for what you get. And yeah, my family for me has been very supportive. They've seen from a young age that I'm very passionate about the game, and they've also invested so much in me as a footballer, and not just as a footballer, as an individual. I mean, for them it wasn't easy to say, okay, um, you know, you can leave Cape Town now and go to 𝗙𝗹𝗃. But I think they're very supportive, and one thing they know is that I love the game, and they can see that there's a big future for me, and that's why they're always encouraging. Okay, well, not always encouraging. I take a lot of criticism from my father as well when it comes to football, and I think that's important because he's not always only singing my praises, you know. Sometimes he has to bring me to that level and say, relax a bit, you know. So yeah, I definitely think that my family has been really supportive of my journey. And as an individual also, I think knowing what you want in life is very important, and working towards that is very important. You need to be disciplined, and you need to know what you want in life.
Definitely. This one comes through from 𝗀𝗹𝗹𝗃𝗃, and 𝗀𝗃𝗃 simply talks about the finances in terms of the world of women's football. Considering the current landscape of women's football in the country, where salaries cannot sustain you for the long term, what keeps you motivated about your passion for football?
I think for me, it's the progress that is being made. I think that's something that keeps me motivated because the progress in the women's game in South Africa is evident. Just this year, we had Hollywood Bets sponsoring the women's national league in South Africa, and I mean. That has to say a lot about the progress. You know, the previous prize money of the national league was 500,000, and this year it's 2 million. So it's those small steps of improvement, people might say, but it's a little. But I mean, if you compare it to where we were, it's a huge difference, you know. And it's not just about the money; it's about the progress and the strides that is being made in the women's game, and also just being at Sundowns. I think they they showing us that they want to invest a lot more in the women's game, you know, and in the women's team at Sundowns, not just financially, but just the support, you know. And I must say the chairman at Sundowns is really trying, and he's showing us so much, and he's really investing so much in us. And I think the work we do on the field is motivating for those around us as well. So I think there's definitely big strides being made in South African women's football, but I think we should also be realistic because we can't really compare. I don't know. We can't really compare the women's the women's game to the men's game because we know that the guys league is considered a professional league. Ours is not considered a professional league. So we need to look at all of those things that are adding to the game. But we would really love for more and more investment into the women's game because we know we can attract this amount of people. We can play nice football. We can draw the fans to the stadium, and we can actually sell football in South Africa. So I think we should just be given the chance and the platform. So yeah, but other than that, progress is being made, to be honest.
Definitely. Let's look at this question. This one comes through from Dineo, and Dineo simply talks about what is your ultimate dream for women's football in South Africa?
It has to be a professional league. That is my dream in South Africa, to have a professional league where there's actually a minimum wage for
Yeah,
women players, where they say the minimum wage for a player is to get this amount. You understand? So that's where you can actually make a career out of playing football, like the guys. So that's definitely my dream for the women's game in South Africa. I wish that it could come sooner than later.
definitely. This one comes through from Monique, and Monique simply says, what is your words of gratitude for the Strandfontein community?
I'm forever grateful for the Strandfontein community because I started my footballing at Strandfontein AFC. That's actually been a very pivotal part of my football because that's where I think my development started. I started playing with boys, and I think for me that was something that actually was very important because playing with boys, it's tougher, and it betters you as a player, so I'm forever grateful for the support that the Strandfontein community has showed me, and especially during the time of the CAF as well. They've been very supportive, not just during the time of the CAF, even when I was at 𝗀𝗹𝗻𝗋𝐶, at 𝗀𝗋𝗋𝗋, they were very proud of the strides and the progress that I've made, because within our community we have quite a few soccer players that are doing well. There's a girl as well, Katie. She's playing for 𝗀𝗹𝗻𝗋𝐶 as a goalkeeper. She's also part of the under 20 national team, represented South Africa at the under 17 World Cup. So yeah, and there's 𝗀𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗹 as well, currently goalkeeper from Sundowns on loan at Swallows. So yeah, the support is amazing, hey? Like knowing that there are people from your area that are proud of you, and there's actually people that look up to you. You know, there's this young girl looking at me and saying, I aspire to be where she is one of the days. So I think that's amazing.
Definitely. Just the last question from my side. Of course, we've seen you play for Basetsana. Now, the big question, of course, is we would love to see you play for Banyana Banyana. In terms of the future plans, is that something that you would like to achieve? Because we as South Africans would love to see you playing for the senior women's team.
Definitely. I don't think there's any player in the world that doesn't want to represent the national team. So for me, it's definitely something that I have as one of my objectives, as one of my goals. That's something that I'm working towards. So I've had a great season. I don't know if that was enough to get a call up, but yeah, I think we have to wait and see if it comes. That I would be over the moon, and I know I would always do my best and give 100% for any badge that I'm wearing. So if it doesn't come, I'll just keep working hard, keep doing what I have to do. But yeah, fingers crossed. I know there's AFCON qualifiers in Feb, but yeah, I hope I did enough. We'll see.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Thalea Smith, I can tell you one thing. From us as South African football lovers, we would love to see you play for Banyana Banyana and, of course, continue to play the phenomenal football that you're playing for Mamelodi Sundowns Ladies. Thank you so much for joining us on the Sports MVT Insider, and we look forward to seeing your star rise even higher and higher. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great being on the.
You're locked on to the Sport MVT Insider, a podcast for unrelenting coverage of women in sport. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I absolutely loved diving deeper into the journeys of our athletes, coaches, and administrators to get to know them a little bit better than we do. Coming up next week, we bring you another athlete, coach, or administrator, and she shares her incredible and inspiring journey with us. Keep it locked onto Sport MVT, where we celebrate women in sport.